let's take a look at the weapons in Defiance. And these mutants here at Sniper's Ridge have kindly volunteered to help me test them.
Using this site to attack.
The weapons are, there's a lot of diversity in the weapons, there's a lot of different ways, there's particular subgroups within each weapon type as well too, so you're spoiled for choice. In this way I guess the game's borrowing from Borderlands, more guns is better. And look, you won't be disappointed. You're going to find particular weapons that will get particular jobs done. You'll get some that are going to be your generic weapons of choice. Me, I'm an SMG kind of person.
What's that?
I love the rate, the speed. I've got this one spec'd out, so it's got a very big magazine. It'll hold 90 bullets. It's got an excellent reload rate. 6 out of 8 Raiders agree, and mutants agree, sorry, that this is a kick-ass weapon of choice. Now there's your grenade launchers. There's different types. You've got ones that will explode as soon as the grenade hits the ground. You've got ones that will bounce. You've got ones like this that just wait to be triggered. What else have we got here? I have a pistol. This particular style of pistol is a charge style. It's Castathan, which means by holding down the trigger, you'll fire bursts of bullets at an enemy. That's my complete quest while I'm going. There he goes.
Target destroyed.
Okay, what have we got here? We've got an infector. Infectors fire out small rounds at a higher rate, high velocity. As a certain amount strike the enemy, you'll notice little bugs start to pop out. They'll attack anything around. These are my babies.
Target destroyed.
Here we have a shotgun. This is a fragger, but some will go full automatic if you hold the trigger down. Some are double barrel that only hold 2 rounds in the ammo. You've got other ones that will fire an explosive charge. You've got sluggers that will fire a single high caliber round into an enemy as well. So it's a matter of finding ones that are complementary to your particular play style.
Target destroyed.
Oh, Dave Bautista. He's made a cameo.
Intruder!
Right, I'm going to switch loadouts here. What have we got? Let's go for a sniper rifle. This particular loadout, I've got a sniper rifle for the distance work. Frame rate's a little choppy while I run this video.
That's how it's done.
Shotgun for close range.
Backup! Now!
Also, I said in another guide that melee's non-viable. One-on-one work I've found, and if you're looking at the top left of the screen, you can see that the threat level right now is 1. I've found that the Castathan blade's really good for getting quick group work done.
Push them back!
Just using the blur ability.
Never saw me coming.
Anybody else? Here we go. Defiance has 5 categories of weapons and also shields, starting from white, which is the most basic and the most common item that you're going to loot off the ground or from battles and so forth. So white weapons have a brief description up the top of what the weapon is, the category that it falls under, and I'll cover that a little later. Also, its status in terms of mastery as well, and again I'll cover that too, so we'll come back to that. Down the bottom you'll see the stats here, the base damage it will inflict, its fire rate. The higher that number, the faster the rounds are going to come pumping out, how much you can carry in the magazine. You've got a reload rate as well. The lower that number, the faster you're going to be able to reload that weapon too. Your critical multiplier, when the weapon applies critical damage, what the multiplier of that damage is going to be, so that'll carry an additional 0.6 on top of every hit. That's critical. And the bloom, this is the deviation of bullets, the pray and spray radius, I suppose. The higher that number, the less likely a bullet is to hit the crosshair when you pull the trigger. It will have a much wider spread. The lower the number, right down to 0, is how likely it is to hit your target reticle. This is from a purely stationary position, so if you're moving around you're going to get a level of deviation as well, and that can be modified by using mods and so forth, which I'll cover at a later time. White weapons also carry 1 additional bonus attached to that weapon too. This is a base ability, so this has got an extra 0.5% of magazine there. That's, instead of 40, it's 42. It's just got an extra 2 bullets loaded in there. Now going to the green category, you'll see it's practically identical, other than this has got an additional ability or bonus attached to it. It's got a slightly higher critical multiplier, so you'll see that crit rate go up, and you can already see that reflected down the bottom there. Other than that, these two are pretty much identical. It's not uncommon to find a white weapon that's doing higher damage than a green, or a green weapon that's even doing higher damage than a purple weapon from a base multiplier point of view. So from what I can see, the stats look completely random. But these bonuses, the combination of bonuses obviously can make a big difference. So depending on the weapon, you may look for bonuses that are going to give you more from when you look at the individual factors, such as the fire rate or the amount of base damage that it's inflicting, or how it reloads, or whatever the case may be. So you can make a judgment from there. Your next tier up are the blue weapons, which again are all more or less identical, other than they carry a 3rd bonus on there as well. Purples carry a 4th. So here you go, there's a 4th ability attached to that one, right down to the orange weapons, which carry the 5th, and these are the highest tier weapons in the game that I'm aware of. There's also named weapons as well. I'm not sure, this Precise Chaos just doesn't seem to have the same name as everything else, so I'm guessing this one is a named weapon, but it's blue tier, so you can draw your conclusions from that. You'll notice that particular weapons, like exotic weapons or explosive based weapons, will also carry additional information on there. This has got a minimum to maximum damage range, a blast radius factor in there too. So looking at each individual weapon will give you the information that you're looking for to make choices about what you how it's going to suit your particular playstyle or whatever the case may be. You'll notice there's a synergy on each weapon that you pick up as well, and this one's Quartermaster, which means that it's got a reload bonus, and that can be enhanced through mods, which will be covered in the crafting. So that pretty much covers weapons. Now you also gain levels in each particular weapon type. So for example, if I was to equip a pump-action shotgun and started using that weapon in Arc Falls and while I was questing and doing pursuits and so on, that weapon will start to accumulate experience points. The weapon itself and that class of weapon, pump-action shotguns, my proficiency, my affinity with that weapon type will increase as I go. To find out more, just press I on your keyboard, and you'll notice up the top you've got a Stats tab. Give that a click, scroll on down, and you'll see exactly where you stand with each particular weapon type, and also your vehicles as well. At the time that I'm creating this tutorial, the maximum level skill for each weapon is 20. So you'll see it right up here, the assault rifles are getting pretty close. So I've got a particular Vulge assault rifle I've been using, getting a lot of mileage out of, and I'm at 18 at the moment. So, and the benefit for me is my reload time's been reduced as a result of my experience with the weapon. My critical multiplier is higher, so I'm more likely to apply crit damage. My recoil's been reduced as well as, and my melee damage has been increased. So if I decide to use the weapon as a club, I'm going to get more damage out of it. Fall-off damage has been reduced. As rounds travel over distance, the damage starts to deplete, but the actual level that they deplete's been reduced by 10%. So I just get a little more distance out of that weapon than I would have if I'd first picked it up. And it's 5% more likely to trigger a nano effect every time I fire a round off as well. Nano effects are radiation damage or fire damage, elemental sort of stuff if you're playing a classic RPG. And if you want to find out more about that, that's covered in crafting. Now my submachine guns are maxed out. My light machine guns are only sitting at 7 at the moment. I haven't found an LMG that I'm really comfortable with. When it comes to rate, I prefer the submachine guns. When it comes to base damage per round, the assault rifles really do the damage that I like. So this one's kind of been stuffed. Now, these 3 weapons are a particular subtype of weapon, if you will. If I was to equip an assault rifle in one slot and a submachine gun in another slot in a particular loadout, as I consume rounds with one, I'm also pulling from the same ammo pool as the other. So you really want to be mixing up your weapon types in your loadout, or you're going to burn through your ammo twice as fast. Going down into shotguns, you can see combat shotguns, which are your automatic shotguns, for example. You've got a pump action shotgun here, so it's a semi-automatic type, and you've also got your sword off down here. And I've only got a 1 in this. I found this the most agonising weapon in the game to use. Very slow, you spend more time reloading than actually doing damage. Now, snipers are broken down into 2 groups, and the levels speak for themselves. Bolt action sniper rifles, single rounds fire off. They deliver much more damage per hit. Now, probably the biggest single hits I've done in the game have been done with these things, but the reload time in between is killer. As opposed to semi-automatic rifles, which you've got a lot less recoil, and they'll fire as quickly as the weapon will allow, based on whatever the rate of fire is on the weapon. And again, too, these 2 draw from the same ammo pool. Pistols are their own group, as are rocket launchers and detonators. These 2 have their own separate ammo, so you can equip 1 in each slot, and which would be insane. You basically do take damage from your own explosives, so if you can't manage distance, that's pretty much a killer build, a self-killing build. Rocket launchers I preferred right at the beginning of the game. I liked them, but detonators quickly took over. So that one's maxed out. Those are your max stats there for a detonator, while the rocket launchers still have a long way to go. My infector ability is sitting at 14 at the moment. My BMGs, which I really don't use much at all, are sitting on 7. So this is each particular weapon group or class has got its own level system. But if I go back to my inventory as well, if I click on this VBI TAC Auto Shotgun, you'll see that this has also got its own basic level, and once that's been maxed out, that weapon will be considered as mastered. It's not mastered at the moment, you can see that. I've got a long way to go. I've got to make 5,059,200 XP on that weapon before it maxes out. But to give you an example of the benefits of maxing, by mastering that weapon, it's giving me an additional 9% to minimum damage every time I fire it off as well. So that's an extra bonus from persisting with that weapon and then following it right through. Now, you'll notice that weapons also have their own rating as well, and that reflects the rating that your character was when you picked the weapon up. So you can see here that when I picked up this Castafan Weaver, I was sitting on 1730. That was my ego rating at the time. However, right now I'm 2,899, so we've got a differential of around 1,100 on that, and I'll feel that when I use that weapon. What that means is there'll be it won't be doing nearly as much damage as it could be. It won't be doing nearly as much healing as it could be as well when repairing other people's shields. So that's something else you need to watch. The weapon of yesterday that was kicking ass can quickly become deprecated as you level and progress through the game. You can, however, increase the rating of that weapon too, so that it's as close to your current ego rating as possible, and you can progressively keep doing that as the game goes along, which is both a nice touch in this game and also a curse at the same time. If you've got a particular weapon that you like, you've got to keep dragging that up in levels with you as you go as well. For example, this Volsh Typhoon AR, I've been carrying this for a very long time, and it's absolutely perfect for shredding shields off enemies. I don't have anything else that will cut through shields as quickly as this thing. But even at the time that I'm doing this tutorial, it's about 500 rating below my actual ego rating at the moment too. So that's something I've got to keep an eye on. And that pretty much covers weapons. Any other additional stuff you're looking at about, like, for example, how to keep increasing the rating on your weapons, how to attach mods to them and so on, go to the crafting section.